go, let's go, let's go.
Six Flags Over Texas, located in Arlington, Texas, was the first ever Six Flags park, the reasoning behind the chain itself. But for the original park, they tend to be forgotten, and sometimes it's rare to get new additions. Or if they get additions at all, they get delayed for a long time or even cancelled. And in 2024, times got rough again, as their all-new addition got cancelled, with no further word on what's coming to the park in 2024. But while everything looked bleak, some recent news have gone out, as well as some new updates, that apparently some new rides are in store for the park this year. And yes, rides with an S, as in multiple. So what exactly is going on? Well, in today's video we're going to investigate and figure out what these 3 attractions are. Yes, 3. Before we get started though, if you're new here, welcome to the channel for all those thrill seekers. On JV Thrills make all sorts of content related to theme parks and thrill rides, no matter where they're located. And if you're a Texas thrill seeker, this is your #1 source of news for Texas theme parks. So if you're interested, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to have the notification bell to know when new videos come out on my channel. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into today's video. For many of the Six Flags parks across the chain, 2024 is going to be a big year, with parks like Great Adventure getting a modern Vekoma Boomerang, or Great Escape, a small theme park that has yet to get a coaster in a few years, just got their biggest investment in a few years. For Over Texas, it was looking to be a big year, as in late 2023, Over Texas unveiled the all-new El Rio Lento, a remodeling and revival of the original El Asadero log flume attraction, which is actually the world's first log flume. The ride was supposed to be combined, as the current attraction has 2 separate flumes, but now with the combined layout it would make the log flume the world's longest, and would have added features including a brand new drop. Now I'm not gonna lie, this wasn't the addition we all hoped for. You see, currently what Over Texas really needs is a brand new roller coaster. Sure, Aquaman was a great addition and a good replacement for the original Aquaman Splashdown, but a major icon of a ride is what's really needed, and the park has yet to receive that major investment. Regardless, many were still excited, because at least Over Texas was getting something new, instead of a delayed edition like Aquaman Power Wave of 3 years. And while everything was looking promising, and this new edition definitely had some potential, out of nowhere all the advertisement for the attraction, and any mention of it got erased from the internet. It was no longer advertised in the park. It was not on the ride's website, and essentially the only mention of it was from the original announcement video from Six Flags, and that's about it. Even now, nothing official has been put out about what happened to the attraction, but it's safe to assume the attraction is now scrapped, as rumors started to swirl, and the main one being that simply Over Texas was not prepared for this addition. Essentially, engineers surveyed the area and the attraction itself, and came to the conclusion that the ride is just too old, and it would cost way more than expected, as well as way more work, meaning possible more delays again, similar to Aquaman. And of course, Over Texas pulled the plug, which is insane because the attraction was well marketed, and many Texas residents were very excited, considering this was a classic addition. In fact, this addition was even put on the news. But of course it's no more, which then led to a dark period where we had no idea what was going on with Over Texas, and what they were going to do. And again, no official announcement on what's going to happen to El Rio Lento. But here's where it gets interesting. At the start of 2024, rumors started to swirl that a new ride was going to come to Bugs Bunny Boomtown. And honestly, it made sense, because before El Rio Lento, there was teasing going on the Over Texas Instagram, talking about a new addition for the kiddos. And when El Rio Lento got announced, it left everyone really confused, considering all hints were pointing towards a new kiddie attraction, which never came to fruition. But ever since the cancellation of El Rio Lento, work has started to progress in Bugs Bunny Boomtown, including the removal of Sylvester and Tweety's Ferris wheel, and just recently Yasmin Sam's Texas Teacups, both iconic attractions being taken out and leaving tons of space. So of course, a new ride is definitely in the works. But it doesn't stop there. Late last year, Harley Quinn's Insanity officially got scrapped, leaving a giant space right next to Joker, enough for a brand new roller coaster. And that's not all. According to recent leaks from a pretty reliable source, the Chaperone T-Cars will be receiving a giant update in 2024. That's not what anyone is expecting. So clearly something is coming to Over Texas in 2024, and it just might be bigger than we all thought. But what are they? So with all the context out of the way, what are the 3 new rides coming to Over Texas? Well, first off, in Bugs Bunny Boomtown, there is some disappointing news. Their new ride isn't all that new. In fact, it's the return of Daffy the Bucket Blasters. For those who don't know, this is an attraction that used to exist right next to Aquaman Power Wave. But with the expansion of a turntable, there was no more room to host a ride, and it essentially got put into storage. The original park president at the time, Ron McKenzie, was planning on putting in another section of the park to make sure the kiddos didn't lose a ride. But it never came to fruition as he got kicked out, and is no longer the park president. But it appears there's now officially a spot for the ride, which I predict is to be replacing Yasmin Sam. Now honestly, I am pretty disappointed with this decision, as it means we're going to scrap a ride for a ride that also got scrapped. And in simpler terms, 1 minus 1 plus 1 is still 1. meaning it's not a new ride and not a new addition. There could have been way better options to put Daffy Duck anywhere. One concept of mine was to replace the water fountains in Gotham City with Daffy Duck Bucket Blasters, allowing for 2 kiddie attractions in an area mostly surrounded by thrilling and extreme rides, which is good for the families that want to ride the extreme rides and also the little ones, who can't reach the height limit just yet. But no, it looks like it's going to replace Yosemite Sam. And I wouldn't be surprised either, as originally before Yosemite Sam, there used to be a waterboat attraction as well, funny enough also themed to Daffy Duck. So yeah, it definitely fits there. But what's the second and third attraction? Well, the second one comes at a very surprising shock, which is the leaked ride that's going to replace the Chaparral Antique Cars. Believe it or not, and rumor has it, for the 2024 season, the Chaparral Antique Cars attraction will undergo a giant retheme to a Dino adventure. You heard me right, dinosaurs in Texas. As crazy as it sounds, this leak came out from a pretty reliable source in an Over Texas Facebook group named Brandon. And usually he's pretty on it when it comes to these type of leaks. Now will I take it with a grain of salt? Absolutely, because nothing official has came out to Over Texas just yet. But would I put it past Over Texas to do something as crazy as this? No, they would definitely do it. And the problem is, it's a good idea, but it makes absolutely no sense. You see, Over Texas' theme is Texas history, and with the Chaparral Antique Cars being part of Texas history, and the ride itself being located in the Texas section, it makes no sense to retheme the attraction to dinosaurs. This might work in other Six Flags parks, but definitely not here. Now, do I agree the attraction needs some updates? Absolutely. For the longest time I suggested some updates for the Chaparral Antique Cars that include themed enhancements, but not to dinosaurs. If it's Texas, we have the Wild West, and they could add props and even animatronics themed to the Wild West and you driving through a western town. But no, they want to invest in dinosaurs. This ain't Universal. Anyways, again, this is not official, and we definitely have to take it with a grain of salt, but it appears this will only be for the 2024 season. My only concern is that clearly this is a giant investment that'll seriously cost a lot of money, when they could have used money in much better things, like upgrading attractions, enhancing theming, but no, they want dinosaurs. Typically, I wouldn't complain over this, but it's definitely shocking and surprising that Over Texas are making these type of decisions. And maybe, just maybe, this doesn't come to fruition. But if it is, it'll definitely keep me wondering, what in the world is Over Texas doing? But remember, there's 3 additions, and now it's time for the third, which is honestly the most recent and the most unknown. Yet another kiddie attraction coming to Bugs Bunny Boomtown. Recently put out by the Dallas Express newspaper, it was revealed that a second attraction is going to be built in Bugs Bunny Boomtown. Now, of course, it says second, even though the newspaper says that there's 2 new rides. Obviously, we know one of them is Daffy Duck, but the second one is unknown and leads me to believe it'll actually be a new attraction. Unless it's the return of Crazy Legs, we might actually see a new investment for Over Texas this year, and we do have some possible culprits as for the new attraction. My first prediction is that with the removal of Sylvester and Tweety's Ferris wheel, I can honestly see a Zamperla Nebula be put in its place. These attractions are really popular with Six Flags nowadays, and every theme park, and honestly they're pretty fun. They have some good capacity, and are really mesmerizing to watch, especially at night. I personally rode one in Carowinds called Gear Spin, and it had some great airtime. Now, of course, it has some slow operations, but other than that, it's a great ride for the families, and makes up for losing that Ferris wheel, especially since the Ferris wheel broke down so often. And considering that these Umbrella Nebulizers can be so well themed, I could definitely see them theming it to balloons, paying homage to the original Sylvester and Tweety's. Well, that's definitely a good option. I do have a second one, which is the Zamperla Windstar. This kind of attraction is very similar to Batwing, a ride that Over Texas already has, but it is pretty different, and different enough for them to install. It also fits in that space, and I believe it to be a very fun addition for the kids, not to mention it would fit really well with the area. And last but not least, we have another Zamperla Kiddie attraction, which is the Zamperla Drop Tower. Yes, I already know we have one with Bugs Bunny Cloud Bouncer, but Fiat Texas already had a Kiddie Drop Tower too, and they still added a new one with Shazam, so maybe Over Texas did the same thing. But to summarize, it's apparent this second edition coming to Bugs Bunny Boomtown will in fact be a new attraction. Could we see a new kiddie coaster in the area? I wish, but no. My final prediction is that it'll definitely be a brand new kiddie attraction, most likely from Zamperla, considering Six Flags has been working a lot with them recently. And also, according to the newspaper, the new attraction is scheduled to be open on May 31st, which is pretty soon, and I'm betting we'll be seeing some major updates very soon as well. So looking back, in 2024, Over Texas seems to be getting a brand new Dino adventure car ride that'll replace Chaparral Antique Cars, hopefully temporarily. They'll be seeing the return of Daffy Duck Bucket Blasters, replacing Yosemite Sam, and a new attraction replacing the Sylvester and Tweety's Ferris wheel. While this is great and all, there's still actually some more work going on in Over Texas, and it's definitely something we need to keep an eye out on. For example, there appears to be a rumor that El Diablo will be leaving the park soon. Yes, another ride removal. Rumor has it that El Diablo is a very problematic Larson loop, and recently with a lot of Six Flags parks taking out their old Larson loops, Over Texas might be up next. And especially since El Rio Lento or El Asadero will still be receiving some sort of update. El Diablo's in the way and needs to be removed. So with it being gone, it'll leave a really open space that can be filled up with a brand new flat ride, which I hope is this Impeller Super Air Race, because honestly those rides are a lot of fun and it will fit perfectly in the area. Call it Aviones Locos, which means wild airplanes, and boom, there you go. The second area we definitely have to keep an eye out for is the area backed by Harley Quinn. With all these removals, clearly something is in the works. If Overtexes is cutting their budget and investing it for the little kids, this could mean some extra money for a possible future investment that's big, meaning a brand new roller coaster and the roller coaster that Overtexes really deserves. There has in fact been talks about a B&M Giga, a B&M Wing, and even a custom RMC Raptor. In that space of Harley Quinn, there's actually plenty of room to fit in custom RMC Raptor, and I do in fact see it. They could even fit a multi-launch coaster there, or who knows. I definitely will make a further in-depth prediction video about these possible areas, but the point is about these new rides. And to conclude, 2024 is definitely a very interesting year for Overtexes. We have a cancelled new edition, but also 2 new editions, and one of them being extremely random. You never really can tell with Overtexes, but hopefully they're making the better investments to make this park successful. 2 years from now, the World Cup Finals will possibly be held at the AT&T Stadium, making Overtexes a prime place to visit. And if they invest now, they could rack in lots of money. If not, Overtexes will miss their chance and possibly progress downhill, which is something you never want to see, especially from the original Six Flags park. In result, what do you think? Will these new attractions come to pass? And what are your opinions on them? Comment down below. And if you liked today's video and want to see more like this, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to also help me on my road to 10K. Anyways, thank you for watching. This is JB Thrills signing out.